afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar on nature-based solutions. Be part of the change. Just a reminder, this is the first day of Dublin Climate Action Week, and there are a series of in-person and online events and activities. So please don't forget to check out the Climate Action Week website. I am Jyoti Thomas, from Smart Cities Dublin City Council. I will provide you with a brief introduction about nature-based solutions and to one of our projects on nature-based solutions, that's Operandum. And then Joy from Kaya Services will detail you about a nature-based solutions platform. So, what are nature-based solutions? The term nature-based solutions refers to the sustainable management and use of natural features and processes to tackle socio-environmental challenges. Or, as defined by EU, nature-based solutions are inspired and supported by nature, which are cost-effective, which simultaneously provides environmental, social, and economic benefits, and also help build resilience. So let's have a look into the benefits of nature-based solutions. They are good for biodiversity, good for disaster risk reduction, they help to improve our health, they are important for jobs and businesses, and also vital for our climate. Today, we'll be focusing on how nature-based solutions help in disaster risk reductions. So, before we proceed, we are at this point of time where we do not have to detail about why nature-based solutions are important or why we need to act now for a better future. By addressing the climate change, we can build a sustainable world for everyone. The graph here shows the deviation of global temperature from average for about last 140 years. Global warming increases the risk of more frequent, heavier rainfall, snowfall, and other precipitations. This graph here shows the number of hazard events over the past 2 decades. The green and the red line indicates the number of hydrometeorological events, and yes, the trend is kind of scary. This is the background for an EU-funded project which we are part of called Operandum. So when I first heard the word Operandum, I was like, is that a word I didn't learn yet or I was not taught in school or something? But then Operandum is an abbreviation for Open Air Laboratories for Nature-Based Solutions to Manage Hydrometeor Risks. Now I hope you understand why there is an abbreviation for it. So we'll be referring it as Operandum going forward. So Operandum project aims to deliver tools and methods to demonstrate and market uptake of NBS to reduce hydrometeorological risk. In simple terms, the project helps to develop nature-based solutions to mitigate a nature disaster and its effects. This 4-year project has received funds from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Program. The objectives of the projects include integrating knowledge about NBS efficacy against hydrometeorological risks, strengthen technology innovation in the area of NBS, improvement of acceptance of NBS-based implementation, enhancement of market demand and increase of competitiveness of NBS, strengthening the adoption of NBS in national policies for disaster risk reduction land planning. The Operandum project has included up 26 international partners from 14 countries and is led by University of Bologna, Italy. Operandum is based on an open air laboratories, OAL, a new concept that expands living labs to a wider vision for natural and rural areas. In the open air laboratories, site-specific and innovative NBS are co-designed, co-developed, deployed, tested, and demonstrated with partners and local stakeholders. With an operandum, nature-based solutions are tested towards mitigation of flooding, landslides, coastal erosion, droughts, and salt intrusion on extra-urban territories. The innovative approach developed 10 open-air laboratories located in urban and rural catchments that have been more and more subjected to hydrometeorological risks due to climate changes. New nature-based solutions are tested with different scientific and technological approaches, including laboratory analysis, numerical simulations, and field experiments. So let's speak about what's happening in Ireland. So one of the major hydrometeorological events Dublin faces is flooding. Flooding in the area causes poor water quality, damage to buildings, and increase in traffic congestion that can also affect the economy as well. Thus, the main objective of OIL Ireland is to deploy a nature-based solution to reduce flood risk. University College Dublin and Dublin City Council are the partners from Ireland for the project and are working together towards developing nature-based solutions in the OIL Ireland. The Open Air Laboratory Ireland is located in the transition areas around the UNESCO Dublin Bay Biosphere. This area is economically extremely important, as around 10% of Ireland's entire GDP is generated in this area. The area is surrounded by the River Dodder in the west, River Liffey in the north, while the Irish Sea makes up the eastern boundary. Since the area is surrounded by water bodies, it is prone to flooding. Extreme rainfall and lower elevation in the area also contributes to the flooding. Over the past 3 decades, the catchment area has encountered multiple flood events, and those 6 shown in the table here are the major ones. If you look carefully to the table, we can notice that 4 out of 6 happened in the last 10 years. This, along with other minor flood events in the past 10 years, shows flood risk has increased considerably in the recent past. That's where green roof have been considered as a solution for Ireland's problem. The green roof has been recommended extensively as a sustainable urban drainage system. The green roof has reduced stormwater runoff compared to conventional roofs because of the additional capacity of the water volume. A green roof is also known as a living roof or rooftop garden, refers to a roof of a building that is partially or completely covered with vegetation and soil, or a growing medium planted over a waterproofing membrane. Various experimental sites globally shows that annual runoff from green roof performance improves significantly. The UCD research team, together with Dublin City Council, focused on assessing the performance of a green roof in reducing runoff using real-world observed data. A set of modular green roofs was deployed at the CHQ building in the Dublin, the capital of Ireland. Reduction in runoff from the deployed green roof has been measured indirectly by using an IoT weight scale. From the data collected, it was noted that a reduction in surface runoff by roughly 9.8% up to 78%, depending upon the amount of rainfall receiving in the roof. For high intensity rainfall, least reduction in runoff was observed as expected, whereas for low intensity rainfall, up to 78% reduction in runoff has been noted. So now imagine having majority of the buildings in Dublin City covered in green roof. Now we are at a point where we are planning scaling up green roofs to furthermore buildings. Protection of Water Bodies Department in Dublin City Council, together with Smart Cities, are now planning green roof deployment in St. Ignace School, Raheny, not only to reduce flooding, but also to raise awareness among the future citizens. As discussed earlier, there are multiple benefits to an NBS. Let's look into some other benefits of green roof other than better water management. Green roofs helps in reducing urban heat island effect, increased energy efficiency of cooling systems, increased energy output of photovoltaic solar panels, reduced effect of severe storms, and increase urban biodiversity. By this time, green roofs should be an inevitable part of the city. The French Parliament recently approved a new law requiring all new commercial buildings to partially have roofs or green roofs or solar panels. While discussing about the benefits of green roof, one thing I wish to highlight here is the complexity in building a green roof. A green roof is not something, you can do it ourselves. It requires proper planning, initial design, including assessment of weights your roof can hold. So, as residents who are looking for simple and effective NBS, which we could do it ourselves, I would like to introduce you to rainwater planters. Rainwater planters are boxes with plants that use rainwater from your roof. They come in all shapes and sizes and can be located in both small and large spaces. Again, the effectiveness of rainwater planters include, help reuse water, add an attractive, colorful feature to your garden or space, help keep your local river clean, improve local biodiversity, help pollination of plants, help local wildlife, be part of the climate change solution. So, if you are interested or would like to know how to build a great rainwater planters by your own, a how-to guide for rainwater planters design have been developed by Dublin City Council and is available over the website. I'm also sharing the link, so when you get the slides, you can go through the link from the slides as well. So I'm wrapping up this introduction to the project for now and will now hand over to Joe Yumar from Kayo Services, again, which are one of our open-ended partners from Slovakia. Joy will detail about the GeoIKP platform, which functions as a knowledge and data hub for nature-based solutions. Lastly, I would like to quote environmental activist Greta Thunberg. The climate crisis has already been solved. We already have the facts and solutions. All we have to do is wake up and change. Thanks again for your time. Be part of this change. Over to you, Joy.
So first, I will show you something about the nature-based solutions in the world, and then how citizen science and also crowdsourcing is helping to shape this platform, but we also kind of document citizen science activities. Then we will show you the policy context of nature-based solutions and the data we have or you can find in this platform. So the first part of finding or solutions for a hazard, for example, flooding, is to kind of maybe browse through different solutions that are available and to kind of just get inspired to learn. Like they are very, like a really broad variety of nature-based solutions that could be applied, but it always depends a bit on the local context and so on. So in our platform, you can firstly also learn more about, you can firstly learn more about the case study in Dublin about the green roofs. There's more detailed information if you're interested in the co-creation aspect or the permitting paths, data around it. And sorry, I'm sorry, very sorry. My slides are just moving on without clicking anything. So then in addition, we have like a catalog, which shows different solutions around the world for different issues or hazards like flooding or drought or heat waves, but also in context with, for example, air pollution. And these catalogs you can browse. Okay, is it? Sorry. Okay, so you can browse this catalog. You can see here all the different solutions, either on the map or in the list view, and you can filter for a hazard, for example, flooding. And then, for example, for a challenge like climate change adaptation. And then it filters you, for example, these 3 solutions. Then you can learn more about them in the text, or we also standardize some information. There are also some images, of course, and some nature-based solutions which are similar to this case study. Then there are some links for more information. And if you can also filter by free text search. So if you want to see more examples of green roofs around the world, here we have like 38 examples around the world. And you can check how they are implemented depending on the local characteristics. Is it a very urban area? Is it a cold climate or warm climate, and so on. Then you can also select them. So then you can kind of compare them in the same page if you're interested in several and want to see maybe the differences. And here we see how you can see them in comparison. So, but then if you're still a bit puzzled of which nature-based solution could be most suitable for you, we have this NBS toolkit. It gives you kind of a step-by-step guidance. So the first step is to define your area and the hazard, so flooding, for example. And then in the next step, you get some recommendations. You can also compare these recommendations as we saw it now in this catalog. And you can also see some real implementations of this possible or suggested solution. And then you will get some more guidance on how to co-create these, how to integrate stakeholders, and how to implement it and monitor the solution. And this is all in this NBS toolkit. The toolkit is still under development, so it is not the final version, but it will be definitely by the end of the year. And as I said before, we have very many case studies in the NBS, in the catalog, nature-based solution catalog, and all these case studies are collected via crowdsourcing. So crowdsourcing means that a large amount of people collected information on different nature-based solutions, and they added them into a form which we developed, and for this form then adds them to the list or to this map which we have here. And then we kind of, all the crowd gathers the data together. And this is still possible. It will be continuing this way. So if you have been implementing nature-based solutions, you could also add it to this catalog so others can use it as examples and can learn from your experiences. Then there's also citizen science, which means that the citizens are actively involved in the science. And we have one example here on the next slide. I hope it is changing already. Yes. So we have, as part of the Operanum project, we have been working a lot together with the citizens of the areas, and in some open air laboratories, which were introduced before, we have actually the open air laboratory was evolved because the citizens started it. So they still said to the government, for example, or to the municipality, the platform is shaped not only by the Operanum project, but it's also shaped by the users. So all the users have possibilities to contribute to the platform, not only learn from the platform or use the tools. So they have the possibilities to add like stories, like the citizen stories, where citizens started or initiated projects. Then also they can add their nature-based solution to the nature-based solution catalog, or funding possibilities for nature-based solution projects, but also policies and data. I will come to this a bit later. So it is the aim to kind of shape the platform together and to continuously also shape this platform even after the project ends. So let's go to the policies. So if you kind of decided on the nature-based solution you want to implement, there are specific policies which might be helping you to implement it, but maybe also limiting or restricting some aspects of the implementation. And these policies, or this way kind of to get the nature-based solution permitted before you can start, actually this is called the permitting path, and these paths are very dependent on the area, but also on the hazard. It is very different if it's like for flooding or for drought. There are different like EU or national or local policies. Then it depends also very much on the country, because there are some EU policies or directives, but they are then translated into national and sometimes even local policies. And then it also depends very much on the nature-based solution you want to implement. If it changes the local area in a higher degree, then it might need more assessment or more detailed assessment. So there are lots of policies around environment, hazards, ecosystems, but also administrative policies and also building policies, which might be needed to be considered before you can actually start with building or creating your nature-based solution. So, and how do you find all these policies which might be necessary? We have this policy catalog for policies which are related to nature-based solutions. And if you can kind of filter this catalog, for example, for Ireland, to see which policies around nature-based solution are in Ireland. And then you can browse different policies. You can see there are quite many regional or national level policies. You can also see nature-based solutions that are kind of linked to these policies, and you can explore the nature-based solution itself. It will direct you to the nature-based solution catalog, and there you can find out many things about it, as we saw before. And if you go back, you can also go to the policy document itself. They redirect you to the original website, and then you can browse the document. So, and this catalog is also based on crowdsourcing, so it means that it might not be complete, but if you are aware of some policies, you can also add them to the catalog by filling in a really short form. This is only possible if you actually register for the to the platform, which is possible for everyone. Everyone can register, and yes, it helps shaping the platform itself. And let's go to the last block of this presentation. And I know it's a lot of information already, and maybe it's easier or better to explore the platform by yourself. But this last part is on data. So data are very important in really many contexts, from hazard or risk assessment to identifying suitable areas for nature-based solution and much more. Here we see, for example, a map of flood risk areas in the Ringsend district. But before I talk about the platform, I would quite quickly explain what are open data, because open data are very high on the agenda everywhere, also in Dublin. There's the Open Data Catalog, which is dublinked, where you can find a broad variety of data sets, which you can use for any analysis. So open data are meant to be very easy to find. They're meant to be accessible without any payments or any other restricting elements. So they should be easy to access, they should be interoperable, and they should be reusable. So these new open data formats are very much promoting opportunities, for example, for businesses, but it also increases the transparency. So everyone can kind of access the information. And the GeoIKP or this platform is also built on open data for nature-based solutions. And in this platform, there's this data catalog where you can find nature-based this data. Sorry. And there you find, for example, also sorry, data on the ORL Ireland case study on the Greek rules. But the platform is not only building on open data, but also open source softwares. Yes, and now I will show you what you can do with data. So we have an interactive map where you can, for example, if you zoom into Dublin, you can explore the area. There are some maps already on the map kind of before you start. You can hide them, and then you can add the flood hazard map, and you can see kind of where it is possible. Very sorry. So first you can change the opacity of the layer or of the map so you can see them at the same time. And here we notice blue areas are like areas which are at risk of flooding. And and then you can, for example, see in this area which is at risk of flooding, there's also like a really low tree cover density, so maybe this area could be supported with some nature-based solutions. So you can do analysis like this with data. In this interactive web, you have a very very many European scale data on risks, but also like local land covers and nature-based solutions, or climate data is there, but will also come more in the future, some projections and so on, everything on European scale, and hazard data, flooding or coastal erosion or landslide and so on. And then we not only like offer data or open data for interactive purposes, but you can also kind of store and publish your data which is related to nature-based solutions in our data catalog. You can also find different kinds of data there from the project mainly. So there are different kind of data for each open air laboratory. And this is the data catalog. You can, for example, search for Ireland. And in this data catalog, we support any kind of formats. So it can be like spatial data, but there also, as you can see, the policies which we have in the policy catalog. So they can also be PDF or JPEG or anything. Here you can see the climate fact sheets for Ireland, which were produced as part of the project, or for Dublin. And you can see the forecasts for different climate variables. And that's it from my side. Here are some links, and maybe if you Google GeoIKP, you will also immediately find it in Google. I hope it will stick in your mind, GeoIKP. But thank you very much, and I hope I could raise your interest a bit, and I hope you will explore the platform. It is designed for different users. So at the beginning, you will be asked if you are more a scientist or if you are a citizen or maybe a policymaker. So we made we tailored the interfaces to the needs of each different user profile. You can also jump between different user profiles, of course, if you want to explore other things. But thank you very much. And maybe there's this one question which might come up: what happens to the GeoIKP after the project ends? Because the project is about to end at the end of this year, and there are some discussions already how to continue funding the platform and to maintain it, and also to further it will be also at the same time kind of developing itself with the crowdsourcing or the crowdsourcing elements. And yes, thank you very much from our side. And we have a question and answer channel. So if you have any questions, you can post your questions there and we will hopefully answer them. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you learned a lot about nature-based solutions. Thank you. Okay, there's one question. If there are any local authorities or other bodies in Ireland using our platform. And I can say that maybe it is not yet so, because we have been developing this platform and it is now about to be kind of finalized, or it's in a very mature stage now. But I do hope that we can exploit it to other municipalities or authorities in Ireland as well. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, that is one of the main aim of this webinar itself, to promote awareness among people and local authorities and other authorities, to let people know about the platform, and not only from local authority side, like even public as citizens, as residents can contribute to the platform, can learn from the platform. So we'll be seeing more and more usage. We're hoping to see more people and authorities using the platform further.
Yes, I hope so. And there's another question: where were these solutions implemented in Dublin? So
Yes, so the green roof in CHQ building were implemented back in 2020, just after the pandemic, and the results, like that wasn't like UCD was the main owner of the green roof. The research team monitored the data, so data from the green roof, and it's still there. Like it's just on the top of a roof, and there's no public access to the roof due to safety reasons, due to railings and all. So, but yeah, it was implemented in 2020, and studies and research were done based on one and a half years of data, and yes.
Yes, and there was also a question, what kind of solutions there were. So you explained the green roof, and if you visit the platform and this nature-based solution catalog, you will also find there were, I think, 2 other case studies which are already implemented in Dublin, which you can explore. I, to be honest, don't remember now what kind of solutions there were, but just visit the GeoIKP and you will find out more about them. And they are also marked on the map, so you can see the locations.
Yeah. Not only from the project, as mentioned in the Dublin City Council's Green Infrastructure website and Flood Risk Management website, there are a list of projects which are currently running or which were done as part of disaster risk reduction. So all the details are available in the website. And as I said, there is a guide for how to do a rainwater planner yourself. So that's also available. I think I have already popped up the link, but I'll also put in the link again if you would like to know more about. I mean, in the website, we may also mention about other, not only nature-based solutions, but also other green infrastructures as well. So it would be good to have a look at. If you have any questions, you can directly pop into info@smartdublin.ie or customer services at dublincity.ie. So yeah, we'll get back to you.
Yes, and then there's one question, if you can repeat what was the first project.
So the project we were speaking about was Operandum. So for that, green roofs were built in CHQ building, and now we are scaling it up to different buildings. So UCD is scaling up to 5 buildings. DCC also is scaling up in a school in Rahini. So that we're trying to make it more publicly accessible, like at least where students can go in and see, and when if it's not school time, might be open to public or something. We're looking into how we can raise awareness and let people know about the green roofs and learn more about it. Hope this webinar has helped you with some insights on nature-based solutions and promote some interest in building those. Thank you again. Thank you so much for all your time, and thanks for joining us today.